Star Wars Geek Girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars Geek Girl. I'm Zoe, and as usual, I'm here with Lizzy.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking about the Star Wars. Specifically
Yes.
the Bad Batch, Season 2.
Many Star Wars.
Many Star Wars. We have 3 Star Wars to catch up on, specifically. We'll talk about episode 11, Metamorphosis, first. I think we talked about it a little bit last time we talked about the Bad Batch. But I really, really love this one. And I'm very excited to talk about it.
Yes. I was horrified by it.
It was
I
great.
liked it, but it was scary.
It was a little scary. It was great. It was good scary.
Yeah. I don't have, I feel it's been a bit. I think we can go into it without spoiler-free thoughts.
Yeah. Well, the episode opens up on this on a ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just see all the what's it called? The
Commandos?
troopers.
Yeah.
The troopers running around, and they're I don't know what's happened. Like, we don't really see it. It's very Alien, like the movie Alien. It was super cool.
It reminded me of a scary Clone Wars episode, just that feel. And I thought it was going to be something like the brain worms, because we didn't see what it was. So at first I thought, oh, maybe it's like a brain worm situation, or maybe since it's scientists, they're being dumb and doing
Yeah, there
something
were
to some
and there's
animal.
big claw marks, open wires with sparks, very, like I said, very alien.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, what's going on? And my dad's like, it's the Zilla Beast. And I was
Like right
like
before?
instantly. Yeah, no,
Interesting.
instantly. I was like,
Okay.
oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Yes, we
I,
open on that.
yeah, I figured later, right when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, it's still a beast. But
Yeah, later
I
later
didn't
I figured it out, but he was
see it later
he
early.
instantly,
Mm-hmm.
instantly. Oh, it's Zilla Beast. And he's right. He's always right.
Yes.
This is very funny in hindsight. He always says that. He always says something like, "No, it's not that," and then it's that. Like, almost every time, and I still don't listen.
Still don't trust.
No, I'm like, I know better, and I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, the assumingly the entire crew just kind of
Yeah,
gets eaten.
they're eaten or something. We see this one trooper in the hallway, and then he gets snatched up.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else is already dead. And it was a
Yeah.
commando clone trooper too. It was a legit I don't know. I feel like the commando clones are oh yeah, that guy's a commando. But honestly, in canon, I guess they don't have a good track record when you
No,
think
not
about
really.
it.
Not entirely, but I mean they
But they're
look cool.
supposed to be oh cool, here's an electro stuff. Um
Yeah.
yeah.
But then
And
it's the
then
Bad Batch.
yes, and then we actually go from that to more Imperials. We don't see the Bad Batch in the next scene either. There's this new doctor, Dr. Hemlock, scientist doctor, not doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which hemlock is
and
like a poisonous plant.
yeah, he's not very nice. You can tell
No,
that pretty instantly. He's not nice.
not
Um,
really.
and he basically he arrives to that mountain base we saw in season 1, and he's apparently they're trying to get to Nala Se. They're trying to get her to help them with their cloning experiments, and she refuses. Because she's captured and not dead. Like I think a lot of people assumed. I also assumed.
Mhm.
So they decide to go get the Prime Minister of Camino. What's his name?
I don't know, but he's a jerk. But
He's a
also like
jerk.
trying to survive, I guess. So can't
Lama
entirely blame him, but like
Su.
I can.
Yeah, he tries to get Lama Su. He's like, all right, because Lama Su is in another prison. He's like, bring Lama Su over here. We can have use him to get her to talk. And then
Mhm.
also the other scientist, that like girl, is like, oh, we lost communication with one of our transports. And like immediately start searching. So this is important. And we
Mhm.
can, connect the dots that it's that transport that we saw. And then we find a good Bad Batch. And
Yeah,
they're on a call with Sid, and they're not happy with her
I
because
wouldn't be either.
she did not help them, and she's really like, oh, come on, like I got another job for you. They try to argue with her, try to like raise their percent of the cut because she's not offering them a lot. Hunter especially is like very sassy with her.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's funny because she's like, okay, fine, like 30%, and Riker's like, ooh, nice, and then they're all like, no,
No,
no.
yeah, um, yeah, Hunter especially is not happy with her, and he's a little snippy. Um, but yeah, and so when they hang up, because she gives them coordinates for some like crashed transport. Oh, I wonder what transport it's going to be.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, but they have like a really interesting conversation where Tech is kind of like, they kind of want to like cut ties with her. Um,
Which is fair. I mean, she
yeah,
again
but
like
it's
is being a
also
jerk.
like, you know, she knows like who and what they are, and it's
Mhm.
danger, it's like dangerous to get on her bad side because of that. So it's like an interesting dilemma being set up here.
Mhm.
About Sid and her relationship with the Bad Batch. But they go to the coordinate, which is on some like random planet near a village. Um, so they look for the crash and they find it, and the ship's pretty much intact. So
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
mean, again, nothing's wrong with the ship
On
itself, but
not,
then they
on the
go
outside,
inside.
looks great. I mean, obviously scratched up from the crash, but like, oh, I wonder what happened. Like the ship looks fine. Uh,
Mhm.
they also notice that it doesn't have like markings on the hull. Like this is not a ship that's supposed to be easily identifiable,
Yeah,
which is interesting. Um, Tech figures
the
out based
Empire and
on
its
looking at their
secrets.
Yeah. Tech looks at their communication stuff and figures like, hey, I guess the crew died. Uh, let's go inside. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
fine. Sure, it's great. Um, so they go in and they're looking around and they don't see anyone. I don't think they even see any bodies. I think they just don't see anyone. Wrecker
Mhm.
finds that staff that the commando clone had earlier. They see the scratch marks and stuff. They're like, oh, there's like a monster in here. That's not good. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. Let's
They're
keep
like,
going,
oh,
I
that's
guess.
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Um, so they go in to try and get the power back on. Um, and so Tex turns his power back on. They also find like a lab, and Omega's like, oh, this is Kaminoan technology, but like different. Like, huh,
Mhm.
that's weird. Um,
Yep.
and then and Tech finds that medical droid.
Oh, that poor thing.
Poor thing. I'm
Yeah.
looking at
Same
Wikipedia to make
things.
sure I don't forget anything.
Mhm.
I forgot about the medical droid. Yeah, no, again, this is very like old, like Alien, like that kind of movie, like very like 80s,
Yeah.
like monster horror kind of thing, and I love it. It was so good. It was like my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. Star Wars
Yeah,
does good horror.
yeah. And there's like this medical droid that's like, it's like like the dying like zombie-ish person who's like danger,
Yeah.
like grabs his leg, like
Leave.
can't move, leave this place, it's cursed. Doesn't quite
And
say
then
that.
it dies.
But yeah, and then dies before it can give any actually useful information. Just a warning. Um, so they're like going around and there's like slime everywhere and it's like, oh, what is this? And then they see it's a little wildebeest, but it's like
It's a
dog
baby.
wildebeest. It's like dog,
Yeah.
like a big dog, but a wildebeest. It's like roaring at them.
It also like
Very-
looks like it doesn't have eyes. I
No,
couldn't tell where the eyes were.
it was interesting. It was not what I would have pictured a baby wildebeest to look like. Like it makes sense
Mhm.
now that I see it, but if you had asked me before, like, oh, what's a baby wildebeest look like? I'd be like, I don't know, like a wildebeest but little. But it was like a dog kind of shape, which was kind of cool. And they were trying to
Yeah.
shoot at it, but as we know from when we watched that first wildebeest episode over 10 years ago now, the like regular blasters doesn't
10?
work.
10? You say 10?
I think it's been over 10 years since that first wildebeest episode came out. I'm gonna look it up now because I don't want
Well,
to
no, I
spread
believe you. I'm just like, what? 10?
misinformation. The Wildebeest Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 18 came out April 9th, 2010. So almost 13 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
I
scary to
was
think
I was
about.
8. I was like, or maybe 7. I was 7. That's kind of crazy.
I was like 1
7 or
year
8.
younger maybe then.
Yeah, I was like 7 or 8.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Awful, but interesting.
I think it would have been 8. I think I know how to math. Yeah, so blasters don't work. They don't quite figure out it's a wildebeest yet. I assume they didn't really see it too much. And definitely like it's also not like might not immediately look like that super obviously. So they don't quite figure out what it is. At first, they manage to the wildebeest runs away when they find it like eating electricity because it ate energy and stuff from the first wildebeest stuff.
I thought
So
that when I saw like they were like, "Oh, this one looks different," and then I was like, "Oh, is there two of them?" I thought there was like more. I thought there was multiples, and I didn't realize it meant like, "Oh, it's literally growing right in front of us." So yeah, I thought there was like multiples going around that ship. It was a little scary. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's like eating energy, and then it escapes. They try. It's like they're shooting at it and stuff, and it escapes out into the forest. And they're like, "Oh no, that's not good.
That's not
We
great.
should probably go get that. We should probably deal with that." And then they use like the little I don't know, screens and stuff in the lab to figure out that it's a wildebeest. So now they
Yeah.
kind of know like, okay, cannot do normal weapons, like kind of figuring out my plan. Um, Tech says that it ate the crew, and there's a really cute little moment where Omega like hugs Wrecker. She's like, they ate the crew.
Yeah. I mean, I would be scared too.
I would also be scared. Oh, it's very cute. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so they start coming up with a plan on how to like deal with it. They also kind of discover, like they're clearly this wildebeest was connected to them cloning. They don't quite figure out everything,
Mhm.
but they figure out this was related to a cloning experiment. Because they did know, at least the Bad Batch, like the grown-ups, not Omega, knew, like about the wildebeest because it like attacked Coruscant and like almost killed Palpatine. So it was like a big thing. So they like know
Yeah.
about it. Um,
Mhm.
but
Which
yeah.
I always, when I was little, when the Palpatine was getting attacked by it, and then Palpatine gave it a weird look, and I was like, I'm gonna remember that look because I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna remember it just in case.
I think it's so cool because like those 2 episodes, I think it was the 2 episodes for the wildebeest, really ended on a cliffhanger, right? With like
Right, which is
Palpatine
why
telling the
little me was
scientists,
like, hmm.
Right, he tells him to start cloning it, and then for almost 13 years, nothing. Nothing of the Zillo beast, or at
Mhm.
least what happened to it. And now we finally get follow-up, and I think I saw some people point out, like, if you go through the Clone Wars, any like little arc that was like set up by a Clone Wars episode with this Zillo beast has now been resolved, with the exception of maybe like what happened to Barasafi. Right? So that's kind
Mhm.
of cool. Um, yeah, and I wouldn't even say like what happened to Barasafi was like set up by the Clone Wars. It was more just like everyone's wondering, but like I don't think they were like it was a cliffhanger necessarily. So
Mhm.
it's really cool. So they're like, all right. Um, oh, and they're like, oh, don't let Tech's like, oh guys, Record Hunter, don't let the creature go near the power grid, or it'll start growing. And where is it? They points it at the
uh
power grid. And it's
funny, funny,
now
funny.
now about original Zillo Beast size.
Yeah, and it
Which is
actually
that
looks
was
like it and everything.
yes, it looks it's the Zillo Beast again. Um
Which means like they were successful with that. I mean, obviously they were successful with like cloning a human,
right.
but like cloning this weird creature thing, like
Uh-huh. I'm
that's
just what I'm most curious about is like that is so fast to get so much bigger,
yeah.
right? I'm like, is that normal for a Zillo Beast? Or like did they
Well,
sort of how
where
the
did a
clones.
beast even come from?
Well, I don't know, that one planet in the Clone Wars. And it like lived underground. It was like that was
Yeah,
like the
but, like
last Zillo Beast. But I'm saying, like, is that how like
mhm.
they normally would grow? Or is this like did the Empire do like the clones like age rapidly? Like did they do something like that to it?
I
Like,
don't
I don't know. How many other Zillo Beasts are there? The other
mhm.
question. Here's the thing, right? But I was always sad about the Zillies as a kid because it was like they're like it's the last of its kind, and they kill it. And now,
Mhm.
like they could be using the cloning to like help, you know, help it get better and like
Yeah, they could do a
repopulate
lot of
the
things with
the
all the
Zillies
technology they have, and they just don't.
population. And and it's not you don't like with cloning. Like if they can modify the cloning, they might not have to worry about like like inbreeding, which is always a concern with like very small populations left of animals. Like you could modify it so it don't it's they're all a bit different. This,
Yeah, you can help them instead of
but
whatever
this
the
is what
frick
they
you guys are
do.
doing.
This is what they do instead.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, Hunter and Wrecker get to the power grid, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's already big." That's not good. But they're trying, and there's like, and it's like right next to this like village. This very nice looking little village.
Mhm.
Um,
Which I was
and
already worried for that village when the
I
Empire
know, I'm
came
like,
around
ugh,
because I was like,
Zillibees.
ooh, that's not
Yeah,
good.
no. And then the Empire shows up and actually manages to kind of take down the Zillibees. And Hunter and Wrecker, and obviously they have to pick up Tech and Omega, manage to escape.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the Empire manages to take down the Zillibees, but not kill it. Just like I don't know, resty. It's resting. And then they um like claw machine pick it up and put it back into their ship. Which like God, if it killed the entire crew when it was that small, is this really what we want to
Mhm.
do? But they take it, and then the clones land in the village and can't have witnesses because they don't want, um, you know, don't want people to know that they're cloning Zillibees. Um, yeah. So
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Can
My
you hear me?
computer is I don't know what it's doing, but I can't
Oh,
access the internet. Like uh It's bugging really bad. Uh-oh.
Can you still hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Oh no.
She's yeah. All right.
Okay. All right, what were we talking about?
Zilla
Yeah.
Beast.
Zilby. So the Empire,
They come to the
um,
town.
they come to town and I mean,
Do you think
they're
they
like,
execute them or
yeah,
they just like put them somewhere?
they executed them. Where would they put them? Why would they put them
That's what
somewhere?
okay, that's
That's
what
too
I
much
was
work.
saying. My dad was like, "Oh, no, what? They want to they kill them. No, they took them away." I was like, "Yeah, took
No,
them
the
away and killed
Empire,
them."
the Empire would never kill a group of people to keep them
No.
silent. The Empire killing an entire group of people? They'd never do that.
It wasn't, I don't think you meant it like that, but yeah. I was like, no, I think they're dead.
No, they're dead. Sorry, Sal. They're dead.
Yeah, they're very dead.
Because it's just like, here's the thing, right? If the goal is to keep them silent, why would they spend resources on, keeping them,
Yeah.
like moving them? It's
What would they
cheaper to
do with
kill
them,
frankly,
too?
yes. No, what would they do with them? And it's a risk, If you put them somewhere, there's a chance they could talk. You can't talk if you're dead, most of the
Yeah, usually.
usually. No,
Unless
they
you're like a
can't.
Jedi, then like there's exceptions. But
Yeah,
like they
Jedi,
aren't.
like William Afton. There's a lot of
Mhm.
potential ways to there's a lot of examples, but
Mhm.
typically can't talk when you're dead.
Yes.
So
yeah, they're very dead. And then um the Bad Batch sends that information to like Echo and Rex.
yes, the Bad Batch sends information. They also Tech discovers that the experiment to start cloning the Zilla Beast was actually ordered by Palpatine before he became the Empire, before he became the Emperor, which we already knew.
Yeah, we were all like,
But
yeah, you get with the program.
yes, but it is interesting to see them start to realize like how long ago Palpatine started doing
Yeah, and like
Palpatine
just how far ahead he is with
things.
this.
Yeah. Yeah, they send that to Tech and Echo. They also go back to the mountain base, where they tell Dr. Hemlock that the Zilla Beast is back in the mountain. And also they mention that the ship that escaped, which is the Bad Batch, so they're gonna start investigating that. And they also go to Lama Su, who now has been brought here. And Lama Su is like, you need Nala Se to cooperate. You need to find that girl Omega. It's like bum bum bum. So now the Empire is looking for Omega.
Which I don't know
Specifically.
why they didn't think of that. Like,
Well, they kind of might have assumed she was dead. I also don't know if the Empire really knew about Omega.
that's true. But I mean, like she's been wandering around with that like Kaminoan like all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the Empire like kind of overlooked the clones. Like, oh, that Kaminoan scientist is some little girl.
That's true. But yeah, I now they're gonna be after Omega, which it is even worse because there's the whole thing where the guy in like the beginning of the season was like, no, 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 Bad Batch is dead. Bad Batch is definitely dead. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
No, yeah, Rampart was like, they're dead. They're dead. Stop, shut up. They're dead.
Yeah. So
So I discovered today I no longer get free unlimited Zoom from
oh,
my school. So we have 8 minutes left. So we could do another Zoom call. I
okay.
discovered that today.
That's
And by
okay.
today, I mean a couple minutes ago when it said, you have this much time left.
I saw that and I was like, is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get to the bum free Zoom off of Temple University anymore.
Dang.
So
Cutting our budget.
we'll just do a new Zoom call. I know.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll do another Zoom call when we're out of time. I just wanted to let you know that's what that is about.
Okay.
But yeah, that was Metamorphosis. Very good episode.
I worry for Omega.
I know. I'm worried because now they're like, not that they didn't have a reason to look for the Bad Batch, but they were dead, and they're like, couple clones. you know.
Mhm.
But now like they're like, all right, well, we really got to look for him, and that their ship was seen escaping, so that too adds another layer. So we'll see. Um, yeah, Metamorphosis was a very good episode. I enjoyed it very much. Probably one of my favorites of the season, easily.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is it your favorite?
I think the Outpost beat it. I think just because that one was so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy Metamorphosis. I really enjoyed, like I said, like the alien vibes. Um, the horror. I think something Clone Wars did very well is play with genre through the lens of Star Wars. Um, and I like to see the Bad Batch doing that again because I don't think there's been a little bit of it in other series, especially in some movies, but I think the Clone Wars, like especially, was a good example of it, and I like to see the Bad Batch dipping their toes into that water as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um, Very good
and
episode.
also again, Zulu Beast.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
like seeing things that, I saw when I was really little and I was like, I have questions about that. And then
Right.
nothing, and then now all of a sudden, which I
And
think is
just
really cool.
following up on that finally, like, and hopefully we'll see like a little bit more and get a little bit more information about it. But if it's just this, I'm also very happy with it. Like seeing the results of that, that one line essentially in the Clone Wars, and seeing where that went, and also now when people complain, it's like, oh, they didn't even do the Zilla Beast. Like they just set up that Zilla Beast and did nothing with it. I can be like, actually, they just did,
Actually,
Stinky.
yeah. Watch Bad Batch, dummy.
Yeah.
It's like when they're
Um,
like, they don't do anything with Maul. Watch Rebels, dummy.
no, literally. Um, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Also, just in I don't know. Never mind. I won't get into that. Never mind. I just okay.
You have 4 minutes.
I'm gonna. All right, I have 4 minutes on the Zoom call. I made a little Kira edit on TikTok, and I got a comment. Someone's like, "Oh, useless character," and someone else replied, or this is dumb useless character. She's not dumb. She's only useless because she hasn't been in any other movies. It's like, okay, a character being in one movie is not useless
Yeah.
if she's important in that movie. Like it's not, I don't know. Like how do you watch how do you watch a movie not part of a big franchise if your idea is, well, if it's only one movie, it's useless. Sorry. Had to
Yeah,
get that out.
I don't I don't know. I whenever I go on Twitter, like it's very not I mean, it's kind of rare because like I go on Twitter because I have like a little thing I want to post and I'm like, okay, post it. And I stay there for a little bit just to see what's up. And it's just like so funny to see people get so mad about these things and then like the misuse of like plot holes and
Hmm.
like things like that are really funny.
Yeah.
Uh especially and it's also like for it's very apparent too for like female characters, like especially like with Ray, that whole thing just happened. They were like, well,
Hmm.
how will we know how could she use the force? Why is she so strong? Like because she just is. Why don't you question it when it's like Anakin or anyone else?
Right.
And like for Kira, she was literally like the main like goal in the Solo
Hmm.
movie. Like finding her was the main goal.
Right.
Uh
And like, and for the record, her story is being continued in the
yeah,
comics
in
right
the comic books.
now.
Exactly.
But like even like if that hadn't happened, it's such a like even, and like we talk about the Philippines, and it's like, oh, it's so stupid they set up that plot line, didn't go anywhere. It's like, well, we had 2 episodes that were good and had their own plot line and impacted the characters. I'm like that. It's like, I don't know, things shouldn't be valued by like how they show up in other things. Like you can also just be like, that was cool, I like that, that developed the characters. Like that doesn't make
Yeah.
it useless.
The
I think
only the only
such
thing
a
I
thing.
can say that I wish was like a thing is like there's a lot of like characters that are part of like the LGBTQ community. And if you check Star Wars, like the movies, not really. Like maybe like that one tiny scene we got in the last movie, but even then that was like, really? Like what, who and what? And but and we see that a lot in we see them all like in comics and books and stuff. Like that's cool. But I wish we could do more. We could
Mhm.
put them in
Well,
movies.
right, and I'm not saying like if you ask for more of something, like that's wrong. Like I think like I ask for more stuff. I'm like, oh, I like this character. I want to see more of them. Like that's fine. It's just like this mindset of like, oh, this character was like only had one story, and so they're useless. It's like no, they're not.
Useless.
Like that's not what useless is.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. Pretty much nothing in the story is useless if it contributes to the plot, to the characters, or even if it just like contributes to the vibe of the movie or is just cool, then I don't think that's useless,
Uh,
People.
something I can think of that she wasn't useless, but she kind of didn't really do much is like Rose in the last movie. I can't remember its name right now,
Rise
but
of Skywalker.
yeah, like she wasn't useless because I don't know, I like seeing her there. She's cool, but also she didn't really contribute much. But I don't know. I guess it's I think it's the wording and like the want to just be a jerk
Right.
constantly to these characters. And I don't know, again, I like Kira. I don't see her as useless, and I can't, I don't know, I think people should shut up. And we have less than a minute. They should shut up and also read comics and
Yes.
books if they really think that these characters are useless and not because they're in there. Anyway, yes.
All right. Well, we'll
Hey,
okay. Uh
we're
round 2.
back.
Technically round 3 because of computer issues I did stop and in the first recording. Round 3. We're
Sure.
gonna talk about episode 12, The Outpost of the Bad Batch season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I adored this episode. I'm very excited to talk about it. I thought it was so good. This is a crosshair episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've gotten this is only our second crosshair episode this whole season. But I don't know, both of his episodes have been so wonderfully character focused and very good stories. I think this one in particular almost just works on its own, like without any of the context. Obviously the context makes it so much better, but like even without that context, I think it would hold up. It
Mm-hmm.
was very good. Um,
I was pleasantly surprised and happy to see Crosshair.
yeah, this episode was awesome. Yeah, so basically, so we actually see for the first time we see some clones like apart from the Bad Batch, mention this retirement, their forced retirement that they're going on. Just a
Mm-hmm.
little, we see in the beginning a couple clones like talking about it, and they're dismissed by this captain, um, who is Captain Jerkface, Captain
Yes.
Jerkface, or Lieutenant Jerkface. Sorry, Lieutenant Jerkface. He walks up. He's like, "Crosshair, put on your helmet," or CT, whatever, put on your helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And he calls clones like used equipment.
Used equipment. Yep.
I hated that.
He was Lieutenant Jerkface. He sucked.
He
Um,
sucked majorly.
he was terrible. Um, but yeah, so he is assigning Crosshair and a couple other clones to go to this other like this outpost, I guess that's what it's called. This outpost
Yeah.
to guard some cargo that has been under attack until it gets transferred.
Mm-hmm.
And this is possibly their last assignment, like before they're retired. So then on this like snow planet, go to this little outpost, and we meet this like awesome clone named Mayday.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him. I thought his outfit was really cool, like the mix of the clone armor with the like wrappings and like it was very cool.
Yeah, it was, well, to be fair, it was less to look cool and more
No.
because they couldn't get supplies.
Because their stuff was breaking, and but it also looked cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Points
for
for
the
looking
cosplays.
cool on accident.
Yeah, I can't wait for the cosplays. It's so cool.
Mhm.
So they're here guarding these boxes, the mystery boxes that we don't know what's in them. And Mayday is the he and two other clones are the last ones left. They have they have the lineup of their fallen brothers, their helmets in the thing. Mayday was a super cool. He's like giving a little bit of lip to Lieutenant Jerkface.
Yeah, they have like a little kind of like an Overwatch text chat of well, how many missions have you led? Yeah, none? Thought so.
Right. It was very nice to see. So we learned that some group of people has been attacking this outpost and taking these boxes of cargo. And Lieutenant Jerkface is like, we need to get it back. Like, this is important stuff. Like, you guys are failing. And he's like, look, like, we're at this random outpost, we're not getting supplies, like, you know. And they're going around and they see like the sensors have been broken by the weather, the cold. Um, Crosshair asked what's in the cargo, and Mayday's like, well, we weren't told to open it, so we didn't. Um,
Yeah.
there's also vultures flying around, ice vultures.
I just like
Um,
that they talk. Like, I don't know, because
yes.
Crosshair is always like, no, don't talk to me. Don't even look at me. And I liked that Crosshair listened to his worries, even if I don't know, like even if someone's like listening to you complain, it helps sometimes. So yeah, they talk and they talk about how they're not getting supplies, the freaking thing keeps getting attacked, and then they get attacked.
Yes, they get attacked. Both of the remaining clones from Mayday's squad are killed.
Mhm.
Pretty instantly by an explosion. Um, and Crosshair actually is like trying to snipe but he zoomed in on the explosion and it blows up and it fills up his scope and like blinds him a little bit because he has
I
the reason he has such good aim is because his eyes are extra sensitive.
Yeah,
So
I thought for some reason that he accidentally hit like a soldier. I don't know why, because like we couldn't see who it was, so I was like, oh no, did he hit someone that was not supposed to get hit? Like I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. But yeah, then the lieutenant is like, well, go get it. That's our stuff. Go get it. And there's only two of them, it's
that's
not
all, and he won't let
entirely.
them take any of the clones that came with Crosshair because they need to stay in guard.
Hmm.
With just the two of them,
Yeah,
and he
so
actually goes and they're tracking from like a bit of like a blood trail the the guy that escaped
mhm.
basically. It was really interesting. Someone pointed out, I forget who, but they're like Tech or Crosshair kind of runs into problems that the original Bad Batch would have been able to fix. Like the sensors are down. Tech probably could have fixed that. Like they know what was wrong with the sensors. Tech could have fixed them. They're
Mhm.
tracking this guy. Hunter would have helped him track him like way more efficiently. They're
Yeah.
trying to move these big boxes. They're also working with explosives later with that mine. Like Wrecker is an explosives expert, which I thought was a pretty cool detail. I don't know
Mhm.
how intentional it was, but it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going through these tunnels trying to find the guys in Crosshair steps in the mine. He has to stand very still while Mayday like disarms it. And then while he's doing that, he asks Crosshair about Clone Force 99, and Crosshair's like, oh, I was part of Clone Force 99, but they died.
Mhm.
And yeah, they
I thought it
grumble.
was funny because they did find that guy that they were tracking and he died. And he was like, "What? Why didn't they take him?" And Crosshair's like, "Dead weight."
Yeah.
And so when he gets stuck on the mine, he's like, "Well, I could leave you here." It's like, so I thought that was kind of a fun moment that he does end up helping him, and then that he like helps him, but then he like goes to the corner, and Crosshair's like, "You don't even trust yourself?" He's like, "I do. I'm just not stupid."
Yeah, I really like that moment. Again, I love Mayday. Mayday was such a good character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they end up fighting finding the raiders. So they're fighting them to try and get these crates back. And Crosshair, they get a little bit overwhelmed, so Crosshair shoots like a generator, causes a big explosion that takes out the raiders. But then while Crosshair and Mayday are trying to gather up the cargo, which they see is stormtrooper armor, which could have been helpful in saving,
Yeah.
the clones. And also, it's very sad that they've died protecting, completely loyally protecting, because they didn't look in the crates and because they weren't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
They've died. So many of them have died loyally protecting or trying to protect stuff for their replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so Crosshair's explosion that takes out the guys also causes an avalanche.
Yeah.
Um,
Which, like, I've seen a lot of snowy movies. It happens.
yes, it happened. We've all seen Mulan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they end up like kind of jumping behind this like rock to like kind of, get the pressure off of them from the avalanche. Um, Crosshair wakes up and kind of digs himself out of the snow and he pulls Mayday out, and Mayday is like very injured.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
so Crosshair,
freezing cold.
right. Um, so and I think Crosshair lost his helmet in the avalanche, I want to say. But he puts Mayday's helmet on to like try and keep him warm, and they walk very long walk all the way back with Crosshair really almost carrying Mayday
Yeah.
back to the outpost.
Which I thought was very sweet, especially with
Very
the
sweet.
whole dead weight
Right, especially after he just said, "I'm
comment.
not going to carry on dead weight." Here he is.
Mm-hmm.
And they just managed to get back to the outpost.
I like when they cuddle because they're trying to keep
Yeah,
warm.
yeah. They
Oh.
just managed to get back to the outpost. As like stormtroopers and other ships are landing and starting to pull the cargo in, and Lieutenant Jerkface walks up and he's like, "Where's the cargo?" They're like, "Really?" And
Yeah.
Crosshair is almost like, it's very sad. He's almost begging for a medic for Mayday, like very different from the Crosshair we've been used to. But Mayday, they don't get the medic in time, and Mayday dies.
Because he talks about how it's a waste of resources.
Yes. And Lieutenant Jerkface is like, "Ugh, see, wasting resources." And Crosshair gets really mad. He's like, "You could have saved him," like, and Lieutenant
Yeah.
Jerkface is just like, "Well, they're like, you guys are expendable. Like, we're replacing you anyway." Like, blah blah blah. And Crosshair pulls out his blaster and shoots him, just kills him.
I was so happy. It was
was
a very
awesome.
it was a very like Cassian moment where I was like, I hate that character. I wish Cassian would shoot that character. And it's like boom. And I'm like, oh
Yeah, no, it was.
yeah. So I was so happy, and I kind of wish, I know it probably wouldn't have happened, but I kind of wish that those clones slash I think they're I mean, I don't know. They were probably just like clones slash stormtroopers. I wish they would have been like, yeah, that guy was a jerk. Everyone
Right.
just say he got shot in like the someone shot him, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Like, it's a cool shot of Crosshair pointing the blaster because we like cut up and see like the vulture circling overhead, and then we got the Crosshair with the blaster, and there's two rocks in the background that kind of are framed like vulture wings behind Crosshair, which is very cool. Yeah, but so Crosshair pretty much collapses like right after shooting him. It's like, you know what? That's all I had to do, man.
Yeah, that's me.
That was, yeah, good job. You did it. So Crosshair collapses, and then he wakes up, and I thought that was the end of the episode, and then he wakes up, and I was like, oh no. And he is presumably in that big mountain base, because the one like girl scientist lady, she is like healing him, and he's like strapped down to this like metal bed thing. She's like, if you cooperate, you can survive. So they're gonna do something with Crosshair.
Yeah.
I assume something cloning-ish related, just because that seems to be what these specific scientists are working on in
That's
this
what
case.
I figured, because of his like loyalty to the Empire, that maybe that's something they think they can clone. Plus he's just like really good. And they don't have the Bad Batch themselves to clone. So I figured like, oh, maybe it's to clone to keep him in a way. But I have no idea.
I also wonder if maybe they want to figure out if they can, because Crosshair is good aim, like genetic enhancement with his super sensitive eyes. I wonder if they're maybe figuring out how they can, because they're obviously moving towards stormtroopers, like maybe we can genetically modify already existing people, and like maybe studying that was my other thought.
That would be cool. That would be interesting.
I don't know if it'd be cool.
I think it would be cool.
Not very ethical, but yeah.
No.
But yeah, I thought this episode was so good. Such a good
I love
character.
their relationships.
Yeah, great character focus. Like, yeah, I'm very excited to see what goes on with Crosshair.
We kind of see it in the next episode, but like it's not that.
Not really.
I mean,
in Pabu?
Oh no, my bad. Not that one.
We don't all get the early screener.
I know, my bad.
Oh my gosh.
I know, I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was talking about. Pabu. Love Pabu. But I don't know. I don't know. I am just I made a TikTok the other day about Crosshair. And it was just a dumb, like, not a hate video, but it was like, ew, Crosshair. And I mean, I like him. He's getting better. I like that maybe now with this episode, we can see that he's finally like, hey, the Empire's kind of bad, huh? Maybe I shouldn't be this. Like, I want to see more of that. I want to, like, because Star Wars is a lot about redemption. And from what Crosshair has done, you'd think, like, maybe he does not deserve redemption. But there's also characters like Darth Vader that are also just so deep into what they've been doing and, like, so stubborn in what they want to do. I think like you said, I just like the character development of Crosshair. I'm not good at talking about character development because then I'm just like, yeah, I like it. But Crosshair is such an interesting character, and he's very stubborn, and I'm glad that we got to see him develop a good relationship with this other clone who, like most clones, are super, like, even though they follow rules, they also question it. Like, I think we talked about this before, but depending on, like, who like you were working under, like Anakin or Obi-Wan, like you had more say in, these missions and just, in being a person when you're a clone. So with these clones that are talking about like, what's good and wrong and seeing that the Empire is wrong, I liked that Crosshair is seeing more clones, like Cody and like this one say, hey, the Empire's not great and we're all dying. um I don't know. I like that Crosshair is getting more perspectives on this, and maybe it's finally clicking in his head that this is not
Yeah.
good.
hmm yeah, and I think it's, I wonder how much of it is Crosshair becoming fed up with the Empire and also just like on a more like interpersonal level, like this person was so disrespectful and rude and like, and just becoming like angry at like this person. And I wonder how much he's going to really project that onto the Empire as a whole. Or just be like, that guy sucks.
It's also like I imagine even 10 times more depressing for Crosshair because he lost this new friend that he made.
Mm-hmm.
And with that comment, I mean, I even think about this comment a lot, and it wasn't even told to me. But like when Rampart was like, seems like everyone you make friends with leaves you, or anyone who's with you just leaves you. Like that would
Mm-hmm.
be, if I was Crosshair, like ringing in my head 24/7, especially with making this new friend just, or companion that you decided, hey, I'm gonna actually carry you back, I'm gonna make all this effort to carry you back because you're gonna make it, it's fine, we're cool, I want to save you, and then he couldn't save him in the end. Like that's awful. um and just sad. I don't know. I
Yeah.
liked this episode a
Yeah.
lot. um and it was sad. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm looking forward to Crosshair's story coming up. And how that plays a role in the finale, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
What that's going to look like for his relationship with the Bad Batch going forward, if there is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about the next one we have to talk about, episode 13, Pabu, which was
Pabu.
very cute, very different
Okay.
in some ways.
you
But I
know,
loved it.
I thought, we all kind of were hoping that it was gonna be like Babu, but I think it's funnier that we were like, no, it's not actually, but like, oh, it could be Babu Frick's entire family. And
See,
then in
I
like
did
Mando,
not
we get Babu Fricks.
I did not think of Babu at all. I just thought of Pabu, another D. Bradley Baker character
Oh,
from Legend of Korra. He plays a character named Pabu.
I was just making jokes that it would be funny that it was Babu Frick's cousin or something. But
No, I had no idea what to expect from Pabu because I knew it wouldn't because the Legend of Korra Pabu.
mhm.
But I was like, what?
Yeah,
No idea what it would be. But I'm very happy with what it was.
mhm. It was a very nice episode.
Yes. Yeah, so basically like we have had a pretty cool scene in a cantina. It was your very classic like Star Wars cantina, like a deal's going down with Fee. She has Omega next to her, and these like I don't know what these guys were, like criminals. They're criminals, smugglers probably. Excuse me.
Mhm.
Um, and they're like they give her this like little tree statue thingy. And Fee is like checking it to make sure it's like not it's like a genuine artifact of some kind. Um, and
Yeah, I I liked it. It was very cute. It was like like you said, like a jade like bonsai tree,
yeah,
and I would love that. That it's so cute.
it was a
My
cute
dad
little
is
thing.
calling me.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fine.
Huh.
I got it. I wish I could put it on speaker. You're like, Dad, you're on the podcast. What's your thoughts on Pabu? I'll call him later. He understands the importance of podcasting.
Mhm.
But yeah, I liked it, and also I just like seeing her again because she's just a
Yes.
cool character.
I
and
really
she's so
like
funny and
I
like
really like Fiji now. I pretty much instantly I was like, oh my gosh, Wanda Sykes in Star Wars. She looks cool. She's like a piratey kind of guy lady. I love her. And then she's so much grown on me even more. Yeah, she's great. But yeah, so she's like she kind of says
like
to the
Omega.
to the smuggler guy, she's like, "Oh, I'm just teaching this girl about
Mhm.
negotiation," and like, and then the pirate smuggler guy like, "Oh, here, have a drink to celebrate our deal." She like passes him, I think, a briefcase of credits. But he like sniffs it and is like, "You really gonna poison me? Like, come on."
Like really?
And he like hits a button and one of those like creepy bugs from Attack of the Clones like crawls out underneath and is like going to bite C.
Yeah,
And
I
Hunter,
did not like that.
no.
But
I
it
didn't like
did,
them Attack the Clones, don't like them here. They're creepy.
yeah, it did remind me of like I think it's the first Indiana Jones movie. Not because there was a bug or anything, but just because like when they're like trading things and that little table there, I don't know. I thought
Oh
that was
yeah.
kind of cool. But yeah, there's a bug, and then the Bad Batch are there to back her up. Um, and they kill them, and they take the money. I was so glad that they remembered the
I know, they
money.
took the money back too.
Yeah,
And it's like, here's the thing, right? This artifact was genuine. It was what Fee wanted. All they had to do was give it to her and then take the money.
yeah.
And it would have been fine. Like you would have gotten your money. But no, they had to try and kill everyone. And we learn later, like this tree doesn't have monetary value.
It's
So
cultural value.
it's like here, like guys, like what'd you win here? Like
Hmm.
all you had to do was take the money. You would have been much better off.
That's how I felt. That's how I feel in Red Dead Redemption. Because I'm like, I'm trying to do my best. I want to like this game. It's a good game, but I'm also so frustrated because I literally bump into someone and it's like, you have a $200 fine. And I'm like, why? First of all. Second of all, anyway. But it's, I had to like do this mission where I was collecting like people's like debt because they owed money because we offered like one of the people in my campsite like offers people loans and I had to go and retrieve like the debt. And there was this one guy who had the money to pay me back, and then he made me chase him on a horse halfway across the map. And I was like, this is not worth it, but now I'm going to capture you and beat you up and take your money. So yeah, I think it's funny. Like they could have just taken the money. I know their thought was probably like, oh, well, if we kill this girl, then we can take the money and still keep this thing and then do it to someone else or actually sell it for more or something. But that it was not a smart move.
Right. It's like and again, like we learned later, like this was not something with monetary value. Like probably not a lot of people besides Fee like would want this and definitely would not pay this much for it. And it's like,
Mhm.
here's the thing, right? Like you get this artifact for her, she pays, you're like, guess what? Now you have a customer. She wants another artifact. You find it, she buys it from you. More money. Like it's bad business.
Yeah. They did not go to business school.
No. Bad
Yeah.
customer service. I did like there was like a big like I don't know if
Gotta
it was like a
review them
lamp
on
or
Yelp.
what above the table and Omega shoots it and like traps the one
Oh,
guy
like
like
a
in it.
chandelier, I guess.
Yeah, it was just I just thought that was funny. I
Hmm.
was like, go Omega.
Yes.
Um
Okay, I have to say on here, but I loved the little Omega edit you made on TikTok. It was
oh
very
thank you.
cute. The sweet
Thank
little
you.
bumblebee one.
Yes,
Adorable. I loved it. That's it.
thank you.
That's all I have to say.
He's a
Um,
sweet little bumblebee.
yes. Uh, but yeah, I I like that later on, and I might be skipping, but like, uh Fee, right?
Fee?
Faye?
Yeah,
Fee? Yeah,
Fee.
Faye. Fee. Is like, hey, like, does she have friends? Does she have people that she
Yeah.
can like talk to and like be a kid with? And they're like,
Yes.
us, as my dad would say, we're kids, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she's like, well, she needs people her age. She needs to be a kid. And Hunter like is like, we're trying. We are
I know.
literally trying.
I know. Hunter's like, we're trying, and Tech is like, I don't see what the problem is. Like,
Yeah,
what?
like,
um,
but
yeah,
yeah,
so
so
they're they're flying off. They also get a call from Sid, and Sid's like, I haven't heard from you guys in a while. And I think they just like hang up on her.
yeah, I think it
Sid
was a
also mentioned,
message, like
or
a
yeah, Sid also
voicemail.
mentioned like, come on, you know about our arrangement, like implying she might turn them into the Empire, which is
Mhm.
not good. Um,
Which is like so dumb.
um, and Fee is
These
like, yeah, I've known
practices.
Sid a long time. Like, she's like that, basically. She's like that. But yeah. So Fee is like, how about we go to this place that I know? So they land on Pabu, which is like a planet. I assume the planet has a lot of water, and then like there's this little island called Pabu. I don't know, it's a planet Pabu or it's a village Pabu?
I think it's the village.
Village. They go to this planet and they go to this village called Pabu, and it's so nice.
It's gorgeous.
I
I
love it
and
there. I
then
want to go. I want to go to there.
yeah, yes. Um, yeah, it was so nice. And then they go and then they're like, "Are you hungry?" And they have like this sushi and it was so cool. Like I just like seeing like food
Hmm.
in Star Wars because it's cool, but that was just straight up sushi and I loved it, especially because, well, duh, it makes sense. They're on a freaking island. Like, of course, they would have sushi, but yeah, I thought that was cool. And Wrecker, I loved that Wrecker was like, I'm full. And
And
Tech
they bring
takes
dessert out.
out the iPad and it's like, I'm gonna document this.
I know. Well, then they bring dessert out, and Rucker's like, "Oh, I'll have some."
Yeah.
That's the most relatable Star Wars moment. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
full. Oh, there's dessert. Well, I'm not that full. um,
Hmm.
there's also a little girl. She's like the daughter of the mayor, I guess. I don't remember his
Yes.
title. I think it's like the
Chief
mayor. Very
Mayor.
very regular title, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but there's this little girl, and she like very quickly befriends Omega. It's very cute. They're just besties. I hope like we have Liana and Omega and Hera. I hope they get to be besties.
Hmm.
Uh, in some other, in some time. Probably not, but some maybe. Um, but
We'll
yeah, so
see.
they have their little feast. Um, and it's great. And then Omega and Liana are like, oh, they play with these absolutely adorable. I forget. I don't know what they were.
Monkeys. I don't know
The
what they
little
are or what they're
monkeys,
called,
the
but
little like purple monkeys. They were purple, right? They were purple. They were so cute. I want,
yeah.
I want the plushies. They're
Yeah,
so cute.
I literally we all want to go to there for many reasons.
They're so cute. Um, yeah. So they're like, having their feast, and then Liana and Omega are like, oh, let's go out on a boat and watch the sunset. And they go on a boat, and I was like, there's gonna be like a sea monster. I was like, this
Okay,
has been too nice. This has
yeah,
been really good. I thought it was sea
so
monster. My guess was sea
I
monster.
I thought because it was called Pabu, like I don't know why, but I was like, what if the island is like a turtle? What if it's like a
Ah,
giant living creature and that's why
that's what
it's
my dad
completely
said.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna I'm glad I'm not the only one. But I was like, that would be so cool. Very Legend of Zelda, but like also just really cool. And then it did not happen, but that's
No, I
okay.
was thinking there was going to be like a sea monster in the water, sort of like Bebo from
Ah,
Resistance.
mm-hmm.
That was my guess. But
Yeah.
no, they go out in the water, and there's like some shakes, and like, oh, like when an island it happens, there's a little earthquake.
Yeah.
But Liana and Omega start heading back into the island. And then it's not just little earthquakes, it's a sea surge. I don't know if that's different than a tsunami or if it's just like the Star Wars name for a tsunami. I don't know if a sea surge is real
I have no
or if
idea.
it's another name for a tsunami. It looked like a tsunami to me.
I
It
mean,
was a
I
tsunami.
see surge. It sounds like it's, similar.
Yeah.
There's storm surge, storm flood, tidal surge, storm tide.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
googled it also, which
It's
I assume you did because you just read the exact
yeah.
words here.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the same thing pretty
it says
much.
it's a tsunami-like, so it looks like it's like multiple names for a tsunami-like phenomenon. It's basically a tsunami.
Yes.
So yeah, there's like a tsunami that comes in, and it's like they have to like they're like basically evacuating everybody because it's like this island is like a cone almost, like it's very tall. It's like a mountainy island. Um, so they like evacuate like everyone to the upper levels of the island. And then I think it was like Tech, um, and Hunter like fly out and like take their ship to like pick up and like scoop up Omega and Leon and take them to the top. And they managed to get everyone up to the top between running up the like stair stuff of the island and like some ladders.
Yeah.
And they managed to get
So
everybody up. I think Hunter has to carry like one, or not Hunter, Wrecker has to carry like one guy.
yeah,
But
which
everybody gets
is
up.
yeah, I was glad about. I
Good.
was like,
No
okay,
casualties.
not
Yes.
bad then. Just a little scary, but we're fine.
So yeah, there's this huge wave. Takes out a lot of the stuff on the lower level of the island. So obviously everyone's very upset. But the mayor is like, we'll all rebuild together, and like, and the rest, the Bad Batch is like, oh, like we'll stay and help, like we want to stay here, which is very nice. I know we still have 3 episodes left in the season, so I assume things are going to go terribly wrong. Hopefully not for Pabu.
Yeah.
Which they
Well,
also
and
mentioned Pabu was like a lot of refugees were in the village, like
mhm.
refugees from the Empire.
Which is why Fee went to go get these
Mm-hmm.
artifacts for these refugees that
Yes,
left
that's what it
home.
was. She all her maybe not all, but a lot of her artifact searching has been getting cultural pieces for all the different people who are displaced by the Empire, which is very nice and I think makes her even better of a character. Who's
Mhm.
already like, oh yeah, cool, like Indiana Jones lady.
Which
And
I
now
think
she's
is
like even
yeah,
better. She's like getting, helping displaced people like reconnect with their culture and find things important.
which makes me want to not call her a pirate and whatever she calls herself even more.
No, she's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they stay and they everyone really likes Pabu and it's great. And also Tech and Fee were like flirting a little bit. Very
I
cute.
okay.
Is
So
it, is it
because Fee kind of flirts with him before, and
hmm
Tech is just kind of like, huh?
He like doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, which relatable. It's just so funny. And then she like, I wasn't sure if there was gonna be a continuation of anything. Like I thought, oh, she's gonna like flirt with him like once and like that'll be it. But then she like continuously flirts with him here. And I was like, ooh. And then I don't remember what Fee was gonna go do. I think she was gonna go help someone. And then Tech was like, I'll go along with you. And I was like, ooh, cute. Very nice. Which just like makes it so much better to think about them staying there.
Yeah. Um yeah, I really like it. I want to say Lorna Ka did a really good little drawing of Fee and Tech, and I love Lorna Ka.
Yes.
So she did really great Fee and Tech art. Yeah. Yeah, I really obviously, like I said, we have a couple episodes left with some very scary titles. So I know they're not going to just live on Pabu happily and have little misadventures for the rest of the season. But
Mhm.
um, I look forward to um more, and hopefully maybe the series ends with them going back to Pabu and having nice little happy times on this beautiful island with
Yeah,
yummy
especially
food.
because this episode was just a happy time. Like no one died, no one
Yeah.
perished.
No, it was like, and it's like, obviously it's sad, like, there's some destruction of homes, but like everyone was okay and they're gonna rebuild, and it's very optimistic. It was like the sanctuary from The Mandalorian season 1 of the Bad Batch.
Yeah, it
I
was.
really
It was
liked. I really
nice.
liked it. I
Um,
hope we go back, and I hope nothing bad happens to Pabu. If it's like, oh, and the Empire found them, I'm gonna start hitting people with sticks.
yeah, especially because they just
Just let him.
rebuilt.
Just please, just let him. Just chill.
Mhm.
Yeah, Pabu was really good. Next week's episode is called Tipping Point, which apparently you've seen already.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No spoilers, please, for
Nothing
me.
happened.
Do not spoil me.
I was.
But the
I
next
didn't mean
episode,
to.
it's okay. It's just teasing. It's okay. So the next episode is Tipping Point. Slightly scary. Tipping Point of what? We will see.
Mhm.
And then after that, we have the season finale, which is gonna be 2 episodes. So
That I haven't seen.
yes, I don't think anyone's seen. I mean, I was people who worked on it. I don't think anyone's seen it.
Oh.
Very exciting. We have 1 minute left.
What?
Podcast plugs. We're gonna be on the Celebration Europe podcast stage on Saturday, April 8th at 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. at Celebration. See what time that is for your time zone. Compared to London. StarWarsGeek.com is the website, Twitter, Instagram at SWGeekGirl, and the Facebook page is Star Wars Geek Girl.
TheRogueRebels.com, Instagram and TikTok at Rogue Rebels, Twitch at Rogue Rebels, podcast wherever you listen to the Star Wars Geek Girl.
Facebook, The Rogue Rebels, and Twitter at Rogue Rebels Spam.
Yeah. You were Zoe.
What?
You were Zoe.
I am Zoe. I was Zoe.
I was Lizzy.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. May the force be with you, and goodbye.
Bye.
Maybe. I don't know. It just is less than a minute. There's no like countdown for Zoom. I wonder how much longer we have.
Like 2 seconds. I know.
It'll just come.
Star Wars Geek Girls. They're geek girls that like Star Wars. And sometimes cry.